Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me is Stephen Koshansky, Head of Digital Asset Products and Research at Nasdaq, to discuss the Nasdaq Crypto Index and the future plans in the digital asset space. Steve, it's great to see you. Welcome back to Trade Talks.
Thank you, Jill, for having me.
Why are digital assets important, and why has Nasdaq decided to launch the Nasdaq Crypto Index?
Yeah, so that's a great question. It's certainly a very exciting time to be in the space. And so it's probably helpful to start with a high-level overview, just to set the context about what's happening and kind of what we're seeing from investors in the space. So from a narrative economics perspective, there's really two key stories taking hold. The first is that in a world with aggressive monetary policy, fixed supply digital assets, such as Bitcoin, represent a potential inflation-resistant digital store of value. The other narrative that's also growing is more organic to the technology itself and the technology capabilities. So if you think about it, over the last 2 decades, the world has catapulted into the digital age. And as we continue moving forward, all of these components that make up our financial infrastructure must also evolve. So cryptographic-based digital ledger networks like Bitcoin and Ethereum are powerful in that they're creating the financial building blocks that can more natively facilitate digital transactions in a digitally native world. And as such, this technology is now being seen as something that could be a major paradigm shifter in how value is recorded, transferred, and stored in a trusted way with a reduced need for intermediaries. And so institutions and individual investors alike have really taken notice of this shift, and many have gone through great lengths to get exposure to this new and emerging asset class, despite many of the challenges and complexities that exist. So at Nasdaq, our desire to create the index was around building an index that could be an industry benchmark for this asset class and to help investors navigate some of those associated challenges as the market matures.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the index design and how it's unique?
Absolutely. So as mentioned, although digital assets do represent a unique opportunity for investors, there really are some nuances and complexities of the asset class, which present some challenges for getting exposure, in particular of asset availability on different exchanges and secure custody options. Accordingly, the Nasdaq Crypto Index was designed to provide an industry benchmark that simplifies access and also displays itself as an investable index. And the way we've done that is by adhering to 3 distinct principles in building out the index. First, by design, the index is adaptable. Instead of having a fixed number of assets to include, the index is designed to adjust its composition over time in order to ensure that it's evolving as the market changes and the composition of assets in the market changes. Secondly, it's representative. So it captures a diverse market share by selecting a basket of constituent assets on the basis of relative market significance. And third, and perhaps most importantly, is the principle of investability. So the methodology is intentionally designed to utilize straightforward and automated rules, which include exhaustive selection criteria for exchanges and custody providers to allow the index to be very easily replicated by any investment fund or firm that would like to do so. So in sort of summation, I think what stands out about our index is its adaptable nature, its representative nature, and ultimately the design, which makes it quite investable.
What's next in the digital asset space in Nasdaq Crypto Index?
Yeah, look, so the space is obviously still very young and evolving. And at Nasdaq, we're taking a long view of what the potential for this space could be. Ultimately, we see our index product being the first institutional grade global benchmark for this asset class as something that can adapt and change and evolve over time to really be an industry standard. So as our first step toward that vision, we've been working with a number of different funds to prepare for the launch of a variety of financial products to be built on top of the index, many of which we expect to launch soon. And so as a starting point, we ultimately see the index being a real model for what investing in this space could look like, while continuing to explore a number of different products that could be complementary to this index in the future.
All right, Steve, thanks for the insight and joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.